Welcome to the Arizona Teacher of the Year application tutorial. This overview will provide you with some tips from past Arizona Teachers of the Year winners on how to complete the written application. First, congratulations on your nomination for the Arizona Teacher of the Year award. This is a prestigious honor and we want to commend you on being nominated for this recognition. The Arizona Teacher of the Year Award is coordinated by the Arizona Educational Foundation, or AEF. Our entire mission is around celebrating and showcasing the incredible work of public schools and the faculty and staff who serve their students. Being named the Arizona Teacher of the Year is our state's highest honor for public schools. AEF is the official partner of the National Teacher of the Year program. So if you are selected as the Arizona Teacher of the Year, you also become our state's candidate for National Teacher of the Year. So how does AEF select the Teacher of the Year? We coordinate a volunteer selection committee that's comprised of past Teachers of the Year, district administration, and community education partners who read and score hundreds of applications. The scores from the written applications determine which 15 teachers are moving on to a quarterfinal round. We have 3 rounds of competition. The quarterfinal round is where the scores from the written application are evaluated against a rubric. We take the top highest 15 applications. Those educators are then deemed quarterfinalists. At that time, the videos that you will submit with your application are reviewed by the panel. Based on the videos, the panel then narrows it down to the top 10. Those 10 then move on to a semifinalist round. The semifinalists are invited to an in-person interview with the selection committee. The scores from the interview round determine which of the semifinalists will move on as a finalist and which of the 5 semifinalists will remain semifinalists. Then AEF engages with the 5 finalists in various ways, and the results of those interactions determine which one of the finalists will be named Arizona's Teacher of the Year. All 15 quarterfinalists are recognized in an Oscar award-style ceremony. We have about 600 people who attend that ceremony, and the winner is announced live on stage. So here are some tips for successfully completing the Arizona Teacher of the Year application. This application is your official entry into the Teacher of the Year competition. The judging committee isn't looking for a technical education-sounding application. What the panel is looking for wants to get to know you. They want to feel your passion for education, your commitment and dedication to your students. So make sure you tell your story and the great work that you're accomplishing in your classroom. Use active descriptive language that will draw the committee into your written application. Your biography is the very first impression that the panel has of you. It gives a sense of your experience in education or work in general. Make sure your biography highlights those key professional experiences, not just in your classroom, but also any work you do outside of the community or any volunteering that you've done. Also remember to include awards and recognition. Make sure you write the biography in third person, as this biography is what is used in the Teacher of the Year Award program if you're selected. Your resume is required to be submitted alongside with the application. Your resume will communicate your level of knowledge and experience as a member of the education profession. Don't skip on listing accolades or experiences, especially if you reference something in your biography. The panel will consult your resume to see if it is listed. Make sure you include all of your teaching experiences, where you taught, the years you taught, as well as any volunteer opportunities and community partnerships you created. So each year we have close to about 150 teachers who submit the application. And a lot of times, sections of the application will sound very similar because teachers have used the same AI platform. So be cautious. You will be asked to sign an attestation at the end of the application to just verify that you did not use AI in your writing. So it's great if you want to use AI to improve your writing, but it still needs to be your original work. So make sure you don't just drop the application questions into the AI generator tool and then take whatever it spits out. I suggest that you use AI as a reference point, but then rewrite what it says in your own words. So remember, the selection panel is looking for an Arizona teacher who understands the educational landscape. That means you will have to be able to speak and write on the fly in a very compelling way. You'll give over 100 speeches a year as the Arizona Teacher of the Year. You're not going to be able to run your speech through an AI generator tool, especially if you're put on the spot with media or if they ask a question in front of a room of 300 people. The panel will be looking for someone that can think on their feet. So let's look at the application questions. So this question asks you to describe a lesson that defines you as a teacher. That's huge. Something defines you as a teacher. So think about a lesson that you feel like would really stand out in terms of how you would creatively and intentionally engage your students to create meaningful learning experiences. What's your teaching philosophy? How do the instructional decisions that you make help your students reach their full potential? How is that reflected in this one lesson that you're describing? Don't just focus on the nuts and bolts. Don't copy and paste a lesson plan. Really draw the committee into your room. Let them see, feel, hear, taste, touch what your students are experiencing as this lesson that defines you as the teacher. This question asks you to talk about a project or an initiative where you helped contribute to create a positive and inclusive culture. Think about on a larger scale about a project or initiative that you created or helped implement at your school that helped bring about change. How did it help you build strong relationships with students, with colleagues in the community? How did it help you create environments where students of all backgrounds and abilities felt safe and respected as well as valued? For this next question, you are going to describe ways that you connect students to the outside world. How do you bring the outside world into your classroom? How do you provide experiential opportunities for students that go beyond the curricula? This doesn't mean that you have to do something outside of the classroom like run an after-school program or take students on a field trip. It can be that, but it can also be how you draw the outside world into your classroom. Do you introduce students to unique people or use something that transcends classroom walls that keeps them engaged? For this question, it asks you to describe a time when you grew as a teacher leader. We know that teacher leaders never stop learning. When you read this, you might immediately start thinking that you need to start talking about politics. Leadership does not necessarily mean politics, but it also means advocacy. Teachers can be advocates for things without being political, so take that all into consideration. Think about a time during your teaching career where you took an initiative to advocate for something for your students, or for something at your school or district, whether that's political or being passionate about, something that your students or your school or district needed. Describe how that experience helped you grow as a leader, and then what was the end result? How did your advocacy for whatever that needed was impactful in your classroom or your school or your district? For this question, it asks you to think about your role if you're selected as the Arizona Teacher of the Year. This question is where the panel gets to know how your knowledge of the Arizona education profession manifests itself. Do you understand current issues facing Arizona Public School? This question allows you to choose an audience. So maybe you want to give a back to school talk for teachers, or maybe you want to address a room full of principals. Maybe you want to go broader and you're addressing a community group. Think about who the speech is intended for, and then make your case. Talk about a compelling issue facing Arizona public education. For this question, it looks similar, but instead of focusing in on Arizona, it asks you to consider what would happen if you're named the National Teacher of the Year. Make sure that you're not making the same mistake that many other people do, which is that they'll copy the response from the Arizona Teacher of the Year question and dump it into this one. They're not the same question. Being the Arizona Teacher of the Year means you have the knowledge of issues facing Arizona public education. Being the National Teacher of the Year means you have the knowledge of the entire U.S. education profession and the issues facing it. They're two completely different questions, so don't copy and paste your responses for this question. For this next question, look at the State 48 graduate profile and pick one attribute you intentionally teach as part of your regular curriculum. Keep it focused on one skill so the panel can clearly see your approach. Give the panel a quick glimpse into your instruction. Where does this skill live in your routines? Tell us how you will make the skill explicit. Do you model the first move, use sentence frame or checklists, or show a quick example before students try it? Describe what it looks like and sounds like in your classroom. Briefly name how students practice and how they get feedback in the moment. Then explain why this skill matters for your students. Connect it to the real work they do in other classes, clubs, jobs, or at home. Finally, show how you know it's working in your classroom. So, final tips for your application. First one, start on the application now. Don't put it off until the last minute. You want to have time to really reflect. We get emails all the time from teachers who fill out the application who say just being given the time to reflect on their teaching has reignited their passion for education. So really think of the application as that opportunity to reflect. Number 2, when you're done writing, have someone else proofread the application. It's really easy when you're writing something, you'll miss those proofreading errors. So having another set of eye really helps. Number 3, remember the selection committee is a lot from the community or corporate entity. So watch using acronyms like educators speak, such as IEPs or PBLs. The full committee is not going to know what those things mean. Number 4, be engaging. This is your time to really tell your story. You don't have to be really technical in your application. The panel really wants to get to know you and your teaching philosophy through your application. Draw them in through your writing. And number 5, pay attention to those hints throughout the application. They're there for a reason. As well as make sure that you're writing confidently. This isn't the time to be humble. Do not waste space by putting things in like, I don't deserve this, I can't believe I got this honor. You were nominated for a reason. Phrases like, I hope, I think, it's passive. You know the best practices, so make sure that you are putting that inside of your application. And finally, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me, Mark Paulson. Here's my email as well as the office phone number for AEF. We're here if you need any type of help. Don't be afraid to reach out. Thank you all for what you do.